Discord are not being looked at by the government. Blatant abuses.
You treat people like me like I'm not human anymore.
Discord, the place to meet new people and make new friends. The platform was first published in 2015 with no target audience other than a small group of gamers. At the time, people were using apps like Skype or TeamSpeak, but Discord replaced them since Skype was known for putting a heavy CPU load on computers and TeamSpeak cost money to host servers. When the first few Reddit posts were made on this light and free app, the word quickly spread and Discord quickly became the #1 chatting platform amongst gamers. However, the platform's lack of central oversight and a decentralized structure paved the way for illegal activities to be committed. From small things like scams and adult content servers being spammed around, to straight up footage, crimes being coordinated, being shared, getting praised for what they did, and minors being forced into producing CSAM. These things are all committed and shared by people that are a part of a deep and disturbing rabbit hole on one of the world's biggest chatting platform.
Welcome to
bySurf.
I initially wanted to skip over this chapter as I thought people already knew of common Discord scams like shady Discord links, credit card scams, and Minecraft phishing servers. But after discovering the severity of these scams and how much of an impact they have on both innocent and deceased people, I felt obligated to spread light on this issue. Imagine this. You're playing a game of Bridge Duel on a popular Minecraft server like Hypixel. Midway through the match, your opponent starts letting you win easily. They compliment your skills, hype you up, and then give you an intriguing offer.
Yo, you should join this duos tournament. There's real money too. It starts in like 10 minutes, so let me know.
It feels rushed, but excited for the money, you tell them you're interested and add each other on Discord. Once you add them, they invite you to a quote-unquote tournament server that seems legitimate at first. The member count is high, but it's mostly fake because you see, these scammers use bots or inactive accounts to inflate their member count and ultimately deceive you into believing that this quote tournament you are invited to is real. Inside the server, you see multiple people in voice chats, adding to the illusion of a real event happening. But when you try to join the voice call with your alleged match partner, you get a message. A bot then prompts you to fill out a verification form, asking for your Minecraft username and the email linked with the account. Once submitted, a second form appears, this time requesting a one-time code. Around the same time, you get an email from Microsoft with a legitimate looking login alert. Just one small code needed to continue. After thinking nothing of it and pasting in the code, suddenly, nothing is happening anymore. You've been logged out. Your profile, your Microsoft account, and every other app linked with it, gone. After the scammer gets your account, they change the email and password and either sell it off or use the account to lure the next victim. Now you might think nothing of these scams, except the now stolen Microsoft account. This is Minecraft after all, a game you can always buy again. But in reality, this simple scam is only one part of something far more serious and almost disturbingly profitable. A black market economy, fully built on Discord. Across hundreds of servers, people are selling stolen social security numbers, often from deceased individuals. These numbers go for as little as $5 to $10 each, sold in bulk to people who use them to avoid taxes or commit identity fraud. But how do people get them? Well, it's either through large-scale data breaches where the social security numbers of possibly millions of people, alive and dead, are published. They also acquire the numbers by scraping public funeral home postings. Some even exploit a massive government database called the Death Master File, a list used to prevent fraud but often taken advantage of by scammers. The DMF contains names, social security numbers, and birth/death dates of millions of deceased Americans. It's meant to be a safeguard for dead people, but in the wrong hands, it becomes a cash grab for scammers. These details are then sold openly on Discord market servers with thousands of numbers in a single drop, and these people simply don't stop at exploiting dead people. Stolen credit cards, access to hacked PayPal accounts, and even leaked login credentials are sold. Some listings go for hundreds or sometimes even thousands of dollars. If you've used Discord long enough, you may have come across rumors, people talking about being on these servers, or maybe you were even sent an invite link by a bot at some point. What's disturbing is that these scams and illegal online marketplaces are just the surface. Beneath them exists an even more decrepit network. A network of online predator groups going after children. One of the internet's biggest problems are predators. Individuals that prey on children through video games with communication features like Fortnite, Minecraft, or Roblox, or alternatively, Discord. You see, because of the fact that Discord is a platform meant to build big communities around pretty much any topic, this invites predators to use Discord as their main way of finding potential victims. Through Discord's Discover page, you can find a plethora of servers dedicated to any topic like games, shows, or even chat rooms for teens. And from here on out, you can pretty much instantly see where things go wrong. This is the 764 group. It was started back in 2020 by a teenager on Discord who named the group after an area code of a Texas town. Their main goal is to spread across multiple platforms harboring children as its main player base to act as a fellow teen to build a friendship with the victim. They would then and coerce them into doing extreme things such as self-harm and sexual abuse, all on camera. The games they infiltrate include but are not limited to Minecraft, Roblox, and other games that have some way of communication and where multiple people can hang out. The victims would produce this material by themselves while the predator would oversee it inside a Discord call on their private servers. They would be pushed into doing things such as putting the name of their abuser into their skin or the name of the group. Other things group members would have victims do is kill their pets or even push them to the point of attempting suicide. If the victim would not already be asked to take their life, the predators would threaten to release their videos unless they would comply, pushing some of these unfortunate kids to the point of giving in. What scares me most about all of this is the fact that in pretty much any server nowadays, there could be hundreds of minors, which for these people are hundreds of potential victims that they can take advantage of to then ruin mentally and physically. And since they were producing the illegal material inside of private, invite-only servers, this meant that they could easily jump from server to server or account to account whenever one of each got taken down by Discord, never having a central point where all the illegal material could be collected. To me, this all seems like it's straight out of a horror movie, but unfortunately, we live in a world where these groups have become so mentally twisted to the point that they think forcing children to themselves is hilarious. It's even turned into such a huge problem to the point that the FBI got involved due to the amount of minors this group took advantage of and how far they're spreading. In 2025, the FBI said that they had over 250 active investigations going on regarding this specific group itself. Over time, this group has grown into a constellation of multiple private servers spread across Discord and Telegram, with hundreds of members and thousands of lurkers that come together to form this disgusting group. Members of the group shared CSAM, videos, and doxes of victims to each other, as well as planning out raids towards games or platforms that would target even more children. But we still haven't answered one crucial question. How do these groups post CSAM on Discord without getting caught? Well, that actually isn't entirely the case, as Discord has been actively trying to stop the distribution of illegal content, including the images that the 764 group are actively sharing. They do this by scanning potential images of and comparing them to a database of illegal content. They also have an additional system in place that scans potentially illegal content and flags it for an internal review by a human. And honestly, Discord has shown that their systems work, as they were able to take down over 28,000 servers in the last quarter of 2023 that were violating child safety regulations. But these individuals would do anything to keep on harming children, as they have found ways to work around these bans. They use coded language by not using the exact words that would describe the illegal content they have, but rather code words that members amongst the group would recognize. And as previously mentioned, they also jump around from platform to platform, with the owner of the group following this routine strictly, as he was banned over 58 times for sharing CSAM under a bunch of his accounts. And to make it even harder for Discord to pinpoint this group, every time they got banned, they would split into smaller subgroups with different names to avoid certain patterns of detection. This means that whenever multiple servers with the same names got taken down, they would work on making a completely different server with a different name that branched off of the original servers, but from the outside didn't look directly affiliated with them. This would allow them to make multiple networks, which also meant that they were stacking up potentially terabytes of illegal content. This constant game of cat and mouse between Discord and the 764 group got to the point that Discord's trust and safety team started working with the FBI to dismantle the group. Alongside the FBI's 250 investigations, in 2023, Discord was able to block 130 servers and ban 34,000 accounts linked with the 764 group, and a spokesperson of Discord had even stated that breaking up the 764 group was a top priority for them at this point. Their continuing efforts led them to arrest at least a dozen members from the US, UK, Germany, and other countries. At one point, they were even able to arrest who they believed were two ringleaders of the group. But despite their efforts, dozens of 764 affiliated channels and servers were able to branch off to Telegram and other platforms as of 2024, which led authorities to assume that some parts of the network might even be related to organized crime or terrorism, as some members of the networks had affiliations to neo-satanic cults and neo-Nazi circles. Now, although these are good things that Discord has been able to achieve by simply acknowledging an ongoing problem on their platform, the sharing of CSAM and the actual making of it isn't the complete bottom of the rabbit hole. With the existence of other servers that share and normalize disturbing things like gore footage and CSAM, and there being no clear age restriction on them, these servers remain openly discoverable by any audience, including minors and teenagers. With these demographics being easily influenced, as seen with the effect of explicit shorts advertisements and online calls where people would go as far as to harm themselves, this is destined to become one of the internet's greatest weaknesses, giving rise to potentially young serial killers. Sami Çelik was a 19-year-old teenager in Turkey who was active in lots of incel servers that had heavily influenced his train of action. On the 4th of October 2024, Sami Çelik, two 19-year-old women, one of them being his ex-girlfriend and the other one a friend. What's disturbing about this is that he had posted a video a year before committing the murders in which he confessed to one of the girls that he was planning to kill her, but ultimately didn't. After committing both of the murders, Sami proceeded to take his own life as well. And although these are really unfortunate murders, let's take a step back for a second. How exactly did these incel servers influence him to commit these disturbing crimes? Well, it was discovered that inside of these incel servers, young men were expressing extreme hatred towards women, and those same members would later even go to celebrate Samy's femicide immediately after the news came out. And it turns out these servers he was in weren't just ordinary misogynists. These groups were using made-up tags like C7K, C31K, and 901, which the Turkish government recognized as they already had information on what crimes these people did. They had the groups on their radar and were finally planning on doing something about them. These groups were involved in extreme acts including cyberbullying, animal torture, and even blackmailing young girls into sharing similar to what the 764 group did. Samy's femicide wasn't the only case of these types of murders. Turkey to this day has an ongoing problem with femicides happening. Between 2010 and 2020, there were a total of 2,996 femicides. And to think that the Turkish government was doing something against it would be a mistake, as there is something called the Istanbul Convention, which was supposed to be a treaty signed by multiple countries in order to protect women. Turkey backed out of it in July 2021. This, along with the ongoing problem of femicides combined with the gruesome murders Samy committed, clearly show that Turkey simply does not care about the safety of the women in their country anymore. This public outrage pushed the Turkish government to block access to Discord nationwide by court order, citing that the platform had issues with cyberbullying, child and obscenity. They also added that they would not allow social media to shake the foundation of, quote, their social structure, which specifically pointed to the crimes and appraisal of them that were happening on Discord. With this crackdown happening, the police arrested several minors that were affiliated with these incel servers, including but not limited to teenagers that were glorifying and all the other stuff we previously mentioned the groups were doing. But unfortunately, Samy's crimes are not the only extreme case of Discord having a big impact on potential murderers. There were multiple extremely disturbing cases outside of Turkey, such as the murder of Bianca Devins in the US, who was by a man named Brandon Clark. He killed her by stabbing her multiple times and afterwards ended up posting images of her on Discord servers. And once again, you have to remember that this is Discord. Not only is it filled with minors, but also people that generally are mentally not used to seeing or had been desensitized by these servers because content was almost normalized on certain servers. Why am I saying this? Well, it's because when Brandon posted the images of Bianca's, people thought it was some type of dark humor at first, or that it wasn't even a real. And if that doesn't speak volumes about the twisted conception of people have on the internet nowadays, I don't know what will. By the time the police caught on to Brandon, the images were already spread across the internet and multiple platforms outside of Discord, including the victim's family, who unfortunately ended up receiving the photos. And the saddest thing is that there are still more examples, with another one being the mass in Buffalo, New York in May 2022, where 18-year-old Peyton Gendron had 10 black people in a supermarket. And how and where was this planned? On a private Discord server where Peyton kept an online diary of his plan for months. Another disturbing detail is that Peyton sent out invites to his private server 30 minutes before the shooting happened, with 15 users clicking on it and getting access to the diary. Discord ultimately ended up archiving the server for a deeper investigation, but found out that Peyton kept his racial views and plans to harm anyone strictly in his private server. These examples that we just showcased are proof that part of Discord's users have normalized the sharing of illegal content, and that they openly express their extreme views about other genders without second guessing it, as well as praising and blackmailing into producing CSAM for their own twisted pleasure. This only leaves me wondering, How many more extreme cases need to happen and how many more innocent people need to die before these disgusting servers get taken down and something comes in place to permanently prevent any of these servers from being created in the first place? I know there will almost never be 100% chance that these servers and these individuals get completely wiped from Discord and the internet itself, but it almost seems like there always need to be extreme cases that happen for Discord to finally pay attention and do something about it. And with the recent changes in Discord's company, we might not even know if they will focus on the right things anymore. In April 2025, the founder of Discord, Jason Citron, stepped down as the CEO, with Humam Sakini, a former Activision Blizzard executive, taking his place as CEO. This change in leadership is happening because Discord is getting ready to become a publicly traded company, meaning that they're pretty much working on shifting over to a more traditional corporate trajectory in which they are focused on expansion, revenue, and maintaining shareholder value. In early 2024, Discord also got rid of 17% of their staff, which is around 170 employees, which they said was to quote-unquote improve efficiency. Mind you that this layoff happened on top of another 4% cut they did in 2023. And even though they didn't specify which departments were impacted, this could very well have included a majority of the trust and safety team, who are responsible for making sure the platform remains safe and these twisted groups stay off. This could also mean that less human oversight could introduce AI for moderation, which may not be as thorough as human reviewers. Oh, wait. Discord announced that in 2022, they introduced Automod AI to, quote, take some of the load off of manually moderating a server. And even though Automod AI has shown its capabilities by getting rid of over 45 million unwanted messages across millions of servers, malicious groups, as seen before in this video, can easily use code words or jump around from account to account or server to server to evade this moderation. And depending on which server they're in, the moderators of that server or the Automod AI might have difficulty detecting it. As Discord goes public and goes after their profits and expanding the company, let's hope that potential investors will at least be looking for things outside of just revenue. And this ultimately makes me wonder, will Discord use investors' money to clean up scams, hate groups, and predator networks and make the platform a safer base for its huge user base of minors? Or will the company put the safety of their users on the back burner and these issues remain, leading to potentially more extreme cases of femicides, racially motivated and being blackmailed into making CSAM? These things could determine if Discord's future will be a safe haven for everyone, or a gore fest for its degenerates. And this is the dark side of Discord. On the surface level, Discord is an innovative platform that has positively changed the way we talk with our friends and build communities with like-minded individuals. But if easily deceivable and brainwashable individuals stumble across the wrong servers with the help of websites like Discord, or even just going to Discord's server discovering page, they can and will be mentally changed and possibly pushed to the point of committing disgusting and disturbing crimes. All because of the existence of people who normalize this filth through their memes and through having minors around this content. But to end this video on somewhat of a hopeful note, I truly believe that Discord can do something against this. I mean, they even worked together with the FBI to get a grip of these disturbed users that plan to commit extremely violent crimes, as well as the arrest of the 764 members. They just need to have a bigger team that is solely dedicated to ensuring that Discord remains a safe and open platform for everybody. And although the decision to go to an openly traded company and having investors has two sides to the coin, I actually think that if they're honest and present these problems they have and how they want to fix it with investment funds, there might be multiple investors who would be willing to invest possibly millions or even billions into supporting this goal. So, If there is anything to take from this video, please let it be the countless victims that unfortunately had to be the ones I use as an example in hopefully securing this platform more.
I told them I loved it. I told them I wanted more. But in truth, I was their mindless slave.
I was 14 when I was by members of 764, and I was exploited for 3 years. It just became so painful. I didn't feel real. I didn't feel like a human being. We've tried to tell this story, and nobody's listened. Nobody believes it. It's too obscure. It's too obscene.